Hello friends, thank you for watching this video. I am Mohamad and today we're going to be discussing how we can implement input validation on our Blazor form. We're going to be going through step by step of how we can actually implement this validation whenever the page loads. So let's get started. What I have here is I have an empty Blazor application which doesn't really contain anything right now. So if I run it, we can see here that the application is actually empty. It does not really contain anything. It's all basically the boilerplate template that Blazor gives us. So I'm going to stop my application right now, and what I'm going to do is inside my root directory, I'm going to be creating a new folder, and this is going to be the DTO that I want to validate. So I'm just going to create a folder called models, and inside this models, I'm going to be creating a class, call it user DTO. And this class is going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to have three items. It's going to have an ID, it's going to have a first name and a last name. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this required so we can directly implement the validation on the form. Okay, perfect. So now that I have my DTO ready, what I want to do is I want to go to my counter razor page, and what I'm just going to change this so it will actually reflect my form rather than having an counter. So I'm just going to delete this. I don't really need them. And what I'm going to do also, I'm going to delete this. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating my form. So I'm going to put edit form. And before I do that, what I want to do is I'm going to create a new class. And this is going to be called counter.cs. And here I'm just going to make it partial so I can add all of my code that I need here. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to create a user DTO object so I can refer to it. I'm going to call it model. And what I'm going to do also, I'm going to create a action where basically a function is going to take the action of my form. So I'm going to put void save user, and I'm going to leave it empty for now. So now that I have my function, I have my model inside my counter.razor, I'm going to specify the model here that I'm going to be utilizing is going to be model, and I'm going to specify on save, on valid submit, it's going to be my save user. Okay, perfect. So now that I have done the basic structure of my edit form, what I want to do right now is I'm going to add some data annotation validators. So I'm going to put data annotation validator, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the edit for my first name and last name. So we're going to put input text bind dash value equal, I'm going to use a model.first name, and I'm going to specify directly the validation and under validation input message, and it's going to be 4, and here I'm going to say model.first name. Okay, perfect. I'm going to just copy this and paste it here and put it for last name. And once I have done that, the last item that I need here is basically a button in order for me to actually submit my form. And it's going to be very simple, button type submit, and I'm gonna give it a class btn-primary, and that should be it. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run my application again, and if I go to my counter, we can see I have a form. I did not specify anything here. I'm just gonna click here, save. Let us just run this again. Perfect. Counter, we can see here I have save. If I click on save right now, and let us monitor this. So I don't get any validation directly, only when I click on save, and after I click on save, it tells me that these are empty. And this is what I want to do. I want basically whenever the page loads, it directly tells me that these two are required. So let's see how we can actually implement that. And for this, we're going to be implementing a very easy solution. So inside my root directory, I'm going to create a new directory called services. And inside here, I'm going to create a new class, and this class is going to be called custom validator. So inside my custom validator, what I need to do is I need to inherit from component base. And once I inherit from a component base, I need to specify an attribute here called cascading parameter. And once I have done that, the input that I'm going to be utilizing is going to be the context of my form validation. So I'm going to put private edit context, I'm going to call it my context get and set. And then here, what I want to do is I want to override some of the method that inside the component base. So if I go here to declarations, if we go a bit down, we can see here we have on parameter set. And this on parameter set is what I want to actually override in order for me to do validation as soon as this form load. So in order for me to do that, I can just copy this and I can go to my custom validator, and instead of virtual here, I'm just going to put override. And then once that is done, all I'm going to do is call my context and do validate. As simple as that. So basically this component or custom validator that I'm doing, I'm actually inheriting from the component base, which has a lot of like built-in method that Blazor will actually recognize in order for it to do custom validation. Then what I'm doing is I'm creating my custom context, which I'm going to be utilizing within the form that I'm going to be adding this to. And then basically through this, whenever I'm saying like whenever this component is being loaded, do directly the validation for it. So once I have done that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my counter.razor, and inside my page here, where I'm doing the annotations, my validations, I'm gonna add this here. Perfect. So now if I run my application again, now if everything works to plan, as soon as I go to this page, it should tell me that my first name and last name are required. So now as you can see, whenever I go to that page, it will automatically show me that these are required. Again, if I click on save, it will automatically also do the validation for me. Okay, great. So now that we have covered this was just a quick video on how we utilize actually custom validation within our Blazor application. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. It will really help the channel. If you have any questions, please make sure you put them in the comments down below. If you'd like to support me, please consider supporting me on Patreon or buying me a coffee. With that said, thank you very much for watching and have a great day.